Is it possible to make $733,000 with just one menu item? We've done it, and I'm going to show you exactly how we did it, why it worked, and how you are going to engineer your own signature menu item. The $733,000 item I'm talking about is the DeMarco of Brooklyn, sold at Andolini's Pizzeria. Just one of the concepts of Andolini's Worldwide, our restaurant group. Now, this signature item is not random. It was my favorite thing I would eat at Dom DeMarco's place, The Fara, in Brooklyn growing up. Now, I remember this being amazing, but you know how sometimes when you're a kid, it kind of fools you? So I went back as an adult, tried a bunch of different places again, and the last place I ate at the Fara, out of all these pizza places, still was that great, and I was full, and it still tasted amazing. That's how I knew, okay, that's what we got to be doing. That's what I had to bring back here to Tulsa and replicate that experience that I felt as a kid to everyone else who loves pizza to have this pizza experience. Now pause for a moment. That's real. What I just said is real, but that passion, that love of this thing has to be in you for whatever signature item you're going to create. Because if you don't love it like that, it's going to be a lot harder to sell it. It's not going to be something your staff is going to get on board with. So before we do anything else, the signature item that you sell has to be that awesome, and you have to be that stoked about it. Once you have that thing, I'm going to show you how you're going to monetize it effectively and saturate your market with what you know to be true, that your thing is awesome and that everyone else should try it. So what is it? It's DOP certified San Marzano tomatoes, fresh basil, fresh mozzarella that we make in-house, and then we have pecorino romano that we import from Italy, along with extra virgin olive oil that we also import from Italy, put on a perfectly fermented dough that we create ourselves, because any pizzeria worth their salt makes their own dough. And what takes it over the top is not only olive oil at the base, olive oil before it gets baked, but then we bring the pizza to the table and then pour the olive oil the last round on top of the pizza in front of the customer. This sounds pretty innocent, like, okay, what's that gonna do? It does everything. It creates experience. Because people go out for three reasons: value, which you are going to lose that game; convenience, works if you're close to a few people, maybe like a college, maybe a gym; but the third, and the one that moves the needle the best, is experience. And are you bringing that? We weren't, so we had to go all in on that, especially with this pizza that represented us so damn well. We knew we could build on anything else if we had experience as the bedrock of what we were giving. Because when you sell experience, you are no longer a commodity. If it's, oh yeah, that place has eggs and that place has eggs, then it's who has cheaper eggs. Same thing for gas, same thing for milk. But when it comes to pizza, it can be like, well, what? A pizza, it should cost 10 bucks, right? If it's basic as all hell and no one actually cares about it, sure. But if you're trying to give a pizza experience, now price is out the window and it's all about what they feel when they eat it. And that is not exclusive to pizza. Whatever you sell, if we can uncommoditize it, now we can connect with the customer on a level beyond value and certainly convenience. So now that we have that item, let's talk about food cost. Originally, the food cost on this item, not good. A lot of imported items. San Marzano tomatoes, not cheap. Pecorino Romano from the wheel, not cheap. All the labor it goes to take fresh curd and turn it into fresh mozzarella, not easy, and also not cheap. So how are we going to make some money on this? Originally, we were dealing with multiple importers. Again, knowing the family, because we had made those relationships with Italy, to then import it to Miami, to then take it to Texas and drive up the first truck of these tomatoes that had ever touched the state of Oklahoma. Not easy. Thankfully, because we negotiated and leaned into these relationships, we were able to acquire it eventually at a sustainable price. But that's only one aspect of what you have to do if you want that perfect menu item. You got to be willing to go to the wall and find it and not just accept blindly whatever you can get. Because once you have every item perfect, it's just a matter of how do we emote how dope this is and then price it accordingly. What can we charge with experience to maximize the profit while still having the customer feel like this was dope, but I owe my pay for it because it's that great. Today, our food cost on this item is a little under 20%, which is incredibly good. It allows for waste, it allows for packaging costs, and that helps keep our food costs appropriate. Hey, and if you want to see exactly how we calculated food cost and how we lowered it across all items, you can watch this video here. Vendor relationships are our, and they should be your, secret weapon. We're able to offer impeccable items because we have built these relationships on a solid foundation with our vendors. What does that mean? Well, we pay on time, we order in bulk when we can, we make sure that they are reaching their goals, and we are an efficient customer so that they can be that much more efficient as a vendor. We respect their time so they respect ours, and if they don't, we course correct. That trust builds, and when you have built trust, you can get access to premium products, and people want to work with you. They want to keep you happy because you make their life better and make them look good. So when I said, hey, we got this item and I need these regularly, they cleared out the spot for us, and they know that they could stock it and hold it just for us because we're reliable. It doesn't even trigger a thought in their brain that we wouldn't be able to buy all these or that we would leave them high and dry because solid foundation. So that's to say that a lot of contracts are not going to get nearly as much trust as a real good handshake and them knowing that you're legit. One of our Unsliced members got $85,000 back just by negotiating this way because they had never really done it before, or at least not the right way, and that was money right to their bottom line. You could be pouring a crap ton of money down the drain yourself right now if you are not being strategic in this specific manner. And if you want to see exactly how much money you could be losing, or in this case, gaining by proper vendor relationships, book your restaurant review call now. We will deep dive on what you have going with which vendor and talk about what you need to do to get it to where it should be. And don't let your menu be the reason that you're not profitable, because it's an easy ass fix. So let's talk margin breakdown. This one item brings in $733,000 annually. Real numbers from our POS. With that said, at 80% profit on that item, it's over $586,000 that we can now use to offset labor and offset utilities. And this did not happen overnight. It took testing and refinement and execution and marketing, smart marketing, and then very exact placement on the menu to call attention to it and give the story so that it sells the experience, because we've already given the experience, or at least part of it, before they even take one bite. The menu is just one part of profitability, and that's why I shared the 7 most important strategies to increase profit. Watch that video after this one. Menu items do not sell themselves. There is no way we could sell this much without marketing. Even popular viral items that everyone's talking about where they've done zero marketing is marketing, and that takes the passion of the servers along with your passion all coming together. Everything has to connect to the narrative that this is great, this thing is awesome, and you're gonna love it. At this point in the game, our marketing is everywhere. Servers wear shirts about this item. Our catering band bumper sticker even says, have you had a DeMarco today? Just always leaning in, little touch points. Now we back that up with emails, Instagram, YouTube, and of course, TikTok. All leaning into that final experience where a bunch of people are around the table and the olive oil is being poured on the pizza in front of them. Extremely simple, but so important. We have to then have training that verifies 2 people take this to the table. 1 person to take the pizza, a second follower to take the olive oil. And now we need to spot check that that occurs, because if someone deviates from that, they're screwing up the experience because they're like, oh, I'm really busy right now. No such thing. This takes priority, and that's something that consistently has to be done in training. As an example of another hook, we're saying, hey, if you haven't had the DeMarco, you've never really eaten at Andolini's. That hook has worked. We've tried several, and that's what we're pushing today, because it's all about the item and the holistic strategy of lifting it to create experience and hit the mind grapes in a unique way. In my next video, I deep dive on those marketing strategies that I use across 12 restaurants and 7 brands, and you are not going to want to miss that one, so hit subscribe. So why is this menu item so profitable? Well, it represents the brand very well. This brand is Andolini's Pizzeria, a pizzeria that is trying to be very knowledgeable about all things pizza, but not condescending to the customer, which means it's authentic, it's elevated, and it's guest focused with experience, as we detailed. Also, it appeals to everyone. A perfect signature item can be eaten by blue-collar dock worker or Lululemon mom. Ideally, you have something that feeds both parties simultaneously. Think of Chick-fil-A. You could be a blue-collar worker, or you could be, again, a Lululemon mom, and they're gonna dig it. This item does that as well, because it will appeal to a vegetarian, but also a meat lover, because it's a hearty, perfect pizza built on authenticity and love of product. Little kids, old people, crowd pleaser. Now, here's another big secret. Most owners are obsessing over their food cost percentage. I don't. I obsess over experience. If you create something that people talk about, think about, because they crave it, you could then just modify the price to get your food costs where you want it to be. And it's the full experience coming together. Not only this food item, but the presentation, the name, the reputation, the ambiance, the service, the total aura all coming together. That is how you create a signature menu item, one that generates genuine profit. Any restaurant could do this as well and create their own $733,000 menu item. But one great menu item alone will not make you financially secure. That's only one part of a full system you need to build profitability. The same system I used to build 12 successful restaurants. And that's what you get in the Unsliced Restaurant System. We walk you through menu engineering, marketing, operations, all that vendor stuff, everything you need, nothing you don't. And if you're serious about going from just surviving this thing to thriving inside of it, then click the link in the description and register today. Thank you for being here. See you on the next one.